kind of animation. And if you want, you can select this, and by holding Alt you can move this up to 20 frames. So we will get that animation somewhere around like this. Okay, now let's select these options and press Ctrl Shift C, and we are going to search for orbit. We are going to name it as orbit. Now after that, click on this icon, then hit Ctrl D, press R for rotation, and let's rotate it on 30°. Hit Ctrl D, press R for rotation, let's add 30 plus 30, which is 60, like that. Again hit Ctrl D, press R, and let's make this 90, like that. Hit Ctrl D, press R, let's make this 90 plus 30, like this. Hit Ctrl D, press R, 120 plus 30, like that. Okay, and we already have one on 180, so there is no need to do. Now what we can do is that we can take a distance of 10 frames, like that. For example, if I take a distance of 10 frames, and if I select this, and with the help of open square bracket, if I adjust them like this, let's say like this. Okay, so now what I'm gonna get is that this atom this electrons is moving around like this. Okay, so it looks very normal. So instead of doing that, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to adjust them alternately, like that, over here, and it should be over here. And let's, by holding Shift, select all of them, and let's move them over here. So now what will happen, that they are rotating but in a different directions. Similarly, I'm going to select few of them. For example, let's select this and this. I'm going to right click, I'm going to search for time stretch, and if I make this 200, and now if I hit play, what will happen, that some electrons are moving slowly and some are moving fastly. For example, if I select this fourth one, if I right click and choose time stretch, and if I make this 70, then what will happen, that it will move a little bit faster. For example, like that. So few electrons are moving slowly and few electrons are moving very fast. Okay, now let's go inside this nucleus. Hit U. I'm going to select my ellipse tool, and by holding Shift, I'm going to create one ellipse over here. Let's select this, press Ctrl Alt Home, go to the Effect and Presets panel, and I'm going to search for blur effect, and I'll apply Gaussian blur, and let's disable this repeat edge and pixels, and we are going to increase this blur value, and let's bring this over here like that. Okay, so if you see this in Atom, we are getting this kind of structure. If you enable this option, then you are not gonna get that, so make sure that this option is disabled, and you can increase the size of it based on your needs, and you can increase this size as well. I'm going to make it 250, and let's see how does it look. It looks very good to me. I can select this nucleus, right click, I can go to the layer styles, and I can choose bevel emboss as well. Okay, and in bevel emboss you can increase the softness like that, and increase the size of that as well. Over here, increase the softness over here, and instead of shadow color black, I'm going to choose the bluish color, because our entire structure is in a bluish format. Okay, so but it's totally up to you. If you want different colors, for example yellow colors, will give you this kind of look. Okay, so it's totally up to you, because we have created this bluish version, so I'm going to stick with this bluish color. Okay, so our atom is ready, and let's save this file. Now if we go to the edit and choose preferences, and make sure to enable auto save, because we are going to create a very heavy animation, so we need to make sure that our auto save option is on. So make sure to choose 1, and this is generally settings I like to use. Save every 1 minute, save when starting render queue, maximum number of project 5, and next to project location. Okay, now I'm gonna go in scene 1. I'll hit Ctrl 0, and if you want to search for a specific comp, you can simply type over here atom. Okay, when your entire project window is gonna get crowded, you can simply type over here. So now we need atom, so I'll bring this over here, press S, and let's adjust the scale. If you want, you can enable this icon, so now you will get something like that. But the thing is, if you enable this icon, the bevel emboss is gonna get lost. Okay, so it's totally up to you. Let's enable this icon just for now, because our animation looks good to me. Okay, but if you want that bevel emboss needs to show, you can reduce that. I'm gonna stick with this. Okay, it's totally up to you. Now we need to create multiple copies of this atom, so let's select this and hit Ctrl D, and let's move this over here, press S, and let's decrease the scale, adjust it over here, hit Ctrl D, move this over here, press S, let's decrease more scale, let's decrease more scale, hit Ctrl D, let's move this over here, hit Control D, and by holding shift you can adjust it over here as well. Hit Control D, let's move this over here, adjust it like that. Hit Control D, let's move this. With the help of W you can rotate it as well, it's totally up to you. Hit Control D, I'm gonna bring one over here, press S and let's scale this size. I'll select this, hit Control D, and let's try to adjust it over here, press S and let's decrease the scale. Hit Control D, let's bring this over here. Okay, so these are my atoms. Okay, and now over here I need animation. So first of all, right click, new, and let's call it one null object. Hit enter and let's call it as cam controller. Okay, we are not going to create any 3D camera over here because I don't want to make my file much more heavy. Okay, so let's make this quad resolution and let's hit play. We are getting all this atom animations, but there is all of them are moving same to me. So let's select this, hit W, and let's rotate it like that. Select this, rotate it like this, select this, rotate it like this. It's totally up to you. Okay, by the way, shortcut key for rotation tool is W. Okay, like that. So now let's select all of them and make it a parent with this cam controller. Select this cam controller, press S, and initially let's make this value 150, so it will focus only on this and create one keyframe. Then as the animation goes further, somewhere around at 4 seconds, I'm going to make this value 100. Okay, so let's see this animation. It will take a little bit time to load because our files are heavy, but if you see this now, we are getting this kind of animations of atom. Now these atoms are very stationary, so what I'm gonna do, instead of this main atom, let's hit enter and let's call it as main atom. And if you want, you can change the color of this to yellow and you can bring this at the top. Okay, and hit U and go over here. And now we need to add a depth of field over here. So for that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to select this version and I'm going to apply Gaussian blur effect. Let's choose somewhere around like 30 or let's say 20. You can copy that Gaussian blur effect, apply it over here as well. You can increase this value, Control V, you can make this value 10. Select this, hit Control V, you can make this value 5. Select this, hit Control V, select this, hit Control V, select this, hit Control V. Let's make this value somewhere around 2 only, or let's say 5, and select this and let's try to move this over here. So if you see this now, we are getting this kind of structure, and let's save this file. Okay, and along with that there should be one background, so let's close this structure for now. And I'm going to press Ctrl N to create another composition, and let's call it as PG. And width I'm going to choose 1920 and height I'm going to choose 180, and let's hit OK. Then press Ctrl Y to create one solid background, and I'm gonna go in my effect and presets panel and I'm going to search for ramp effect. Okay, or 4 color gradient is also good, so let's apply 4 color gradient. And as we say that we are doing this animation in entirely bluish color, so choose the color something which is near to the blue color, like darker versions of blue, etc, etc. Along with that, I'm going to press Ctrl Y to create one solid background. Select this first layer, press T for opacity, and I can adjust the opacity like that. Right click, new, and create another adjustment layer and search for effect called CC vintage effect and double click to apply, so it will give you some nice amount of shadows from each and every end. Okay, then I'm going to select my pen tool, and from zoom out a little bit from here, once more here to shift hold here, we will create stroke of white color and 1 pixels, and let's delete this fill and press Ctrl Alt Home. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically, and let's make this value fit. Okay, and let's select this shape layer and go to the add menu, and we are going